2 months ago. And after like 2 months of back and forth with attorneys and stuff, getting involved, finally we get to close this facility. So we're closing on it's a $1.4 million facility, and it's in Carrollton, Georgia. So we'll be able to double the value of the property, if not more, just by increasing the rates. We are actually closing on number 16 tomorrow. All right, so we've been trying to close this facility for a long time. And what happened is that, attorneys got involved. So we had the seller's attorney got involved, and then also the my attorney got involved. And of course, when attorneys get involved, everything gets all screwed up, right? So we were supposed to close this facility probably like 2 months ago. And after like 2 months of back and forth with attorneys and stuff, getting involved, finally we get to close this facility. So I'm looking forward to that. So we're closing on it's a $1.4 million facility, and it's in Carrollton, Georgia, which is a suburb west of Atlanta. And we're adding on 175 doors. And also there's a commercial building as well too that has 5 tenants in it. So we have a commercial building that we're adding to, and then a whole bunch of tenants and stuff. And so it's going to be a really good deal. I'm excited about it. But closing a deal, like closing a storage facility or closing any property, if you guys know, buying real estate is not easy at all. It's exhausting. So we're in the final stretch of trying to buy that facility. So that will be number 16 for us. And so my husband and all of his team, if you guys don't know, I'm the one that my team finds the facilities, and my team funds it. That's my job, finding and funding. And then my husband, his team basically takes over and manages it. So they've been gearing up to get ready to bring on all these new tenants. It's a severely mismanaged facility. You guys know that I buy severely mismanaged facilities, and it's supposed to be at around like $1 a square foot. He's at about 50 cents a square foot. So we'll be able to double the value of the property, if not more, just by increasing the rates, but and then getting the economic value of that property up. The physical occupancy of this property is it's pretty good. He doesn't really have a lot of a vacancy, but the issue is that, with the mismanaged facility, getting the people that occupy the units to pay is kind of one of the hardest parts of owning a storage facility, right? And so, 80% pay and 20% don't pay. And I would say probably about maybe 60% pay and 40% don't pay, something like this. So we'll just have to, go through the process of getting them into our system, and then also letting them know there's going to be a price increase. And probably a lot of people will leave, and we'll also have to do a lot of auctions, right? And it takes a good couple of months, but I would say from now until the end of the year, it'll take us that long to really just, get all the contracts signed, get the auctions done. And we closed on a property. Actually, funny enough, is that we closed on a property this time last year, and it took a good 6 months for us to, just clean the thing up and get it to where we could get all the bad tenants out and start getting new tenants in. So it really does take some time with mismanaged facilities. That's not stabilization. Stabilization is when you get it to 85 to 90% occupied, right? That's when you can say, okay, I've stabilized the property. Really, the first 6 months of this property are just chasing tenants, getting them to get into the system, and signing the contract, getting them to be able to make payments, because you have to get their payment information. And let's see what else. And then cleaning the place up And on top of that, starting to auction off anybody that you can't get a hold of and going through the auction process for that. And we typically don't do an auction process until 90 days after we own the property. And it really takes a good couple months to even do an auction process. So that's why I say the first 6 months of owning a storage facility is it's kind of a lot of work. Okay, all right. So again, we're closing on that bill. We were supposed to close Monday, didn't close. Tuesday didn't close. Wednesday's today. It's probably not going to close. Cross your fingers. Hopefully tomorrow it'll close, but it should close within the next day or two. And so we're in the process of like wiring like $1.4 million over. That's kind of scary too, you know, with all the wire fraud and stuff. You know, so that's like a big thing. But I talked to like my attorney and I was like, I'm going to wire you $1.4 million. And he was like, okay, great. And I was like, no, this is a big deal. Like, there's a lot of money to wire over. He was like, Stacy, this is like something that we wire like every day. This is like not a big deal. And I was like, well, for me, it's a big deal because we're paying actually in cash is what we're doing. We're paying cash. So I raised enough money to buy this thing is what I did. And I raised that through our fund, which is the Self-Storage Fund of America. And the owner did not want to owner finance. So typically with a mismanaged facility, right, I try to really push seller financing. I try to get the owner to be the bank. But in this respect, the owner did not want to be the bank. He was adamant. He wanted to get his $1 million, right? He's going to make 1.4 million, but essentially he's going to have to pay taxes and stuff. So he'll make $1 million on the bill or whatever. And then once he gets his $1 million, he's leaving and he's moving to Costa Rica. All right, so he wanted to have that $1 million to retire and have that money for. So I couldn't get him seller finance. So I had to raise the money. So I did. I raised that through the Self-Storage Fund of America. And that is a 506c fund, right? So I'm going to just let everybody can see this. Yeah. All right. Okay. So I raised that money through the Self-Storage Fund of America. Just so everybody knows. This is a 506c fund. So I raised it and the minimum was 25,000. 25K increment, like the minimum was 25K. So like when I pitched it, so I created a fund is what I did. And it's kind of like syndication, but it's really more like, you know, you're raising the money as like a line of credit. All right. And I did a 506c fund. The minimum was 25,000. It's for only accredited investors. Okay. And accredited investors means that you have $1 million of net worth or more. All right. So that is how this works. $1 million net worth or more. Okay. And so I basically from like, you know, the last couple of months or so, I've been like pitching everybody to give me money for this so that I could pay this in cash. To raise $1.4 million for me personally is not easy. It is not easy, especially if you're doing it in $25,000 increments. Think about how many $25,000 investors you have to have in order to raise $1.4 million. Hey everybody, this is Stacy here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am here to teach you how to get your foot into this industry. You're watching this video because you want to learn how to get started in self-storage investing, or maybe you own facilities and you want to be a better manager, a better owner. That is what I do, is I teach people how to do that. So please like this video and also subscribe, hit the subscribe button, because that's what YouTube wants. So in order for me to get out the word on how to get started in this industry, I really need your help. Again, I appreciate you listening to me, and I'm here to help you on this journey, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.